In this video tutorial, I am going to discuss about classification of the lipids. In the previous video, we had discussed about the definition of lipids, and we know that definition of lipid was put forward by the Bloor. Bloor was one scientist who had given the definition of the lipids. Bloor had done second significant work in the lipids, and that is Bloor had given the classification of lipids. Okay, so according to Bloor, lipids are divided or lipids are classified into three further groups. So one group is simple lipids, the second group is compound lipids, and the third group is known as derived lipids. It is derived lipids. Now we are doing a slight modification with the Bloor's classification, and so we are adding fourth group, that is the miscellaneous. Lipids, because some of the lipids are there which cannot be classified into these three different groups, right? So let's start with the simple lipids. Now what are the simple lipids? Simple lipids are the esters of fatty acid with various alcohols. These are the esters of fatty acids with various alcohols. So see, the alcohol, suppose this is alcohol, right? This is alcohol. It binds with fatty acid. By this ester linkage. We call it as a simple lipids. Okay. So alcohol, as an alcohol, we can have a glycerol, or we can have a cholesterol, or we can have a sphingol, right? So these are the most commonly found alcohols in the structure of simple lipids in human biochemistry, right? So see, let's take up an example of glycerol. Now glycerol is a 3-carbon compound. It is 3-carbon compound with a 3 OH groups, right? And with all this OH group, fatty acid can be bind. Fatty acid can make up a bond, that is ester bond. Okay. So see, this is a glycerol. This is a glycerol which is bound with 3 fatty acid. We call it as a triacyl glycerol. And so this triacyl glycerol is an example of simple lipid. Okay. So now let's move to the second group, that is the compound lipids. What are the compound lipids? So compound lipids are nothing but they are simple lipids which are covalently bound with some other group. Okay. So that means simple lipid is already there, which is making a covalent bond with some other group. Now one thing you need to understand over here, that simple lipid, we know that simple lipid contain fatty acid and alcohol, right? So obviously this other group cannot be fatty acid or cannot be alcohol. So if one fatty acid is bound with 2 alcohol, you cannot consider that extra 1 alcohol as other group and can classify as a compound lipid. No, this other group must be different than the fatty acid or alcohol. So what are the possibilities in human biochemistry for these other groups? So other group may be a phosphate. Okay, it may be a phosphate, and when phosphate is other group, we call it as a phospholipid. If other group is carbohydrate, we call it as a glycolipids. If some other group is sulfate, if it is a sulfate, we call it as a sulfolipids. If that other group is a protein, and if protein and lipids are bound, then we call it as a proteolipids. Or we can also call it as a aminolipids. Now if in certain protein, if the lipid is acting as a prosthetic group, if lipids occur as a prosthetic group, as a prosthetic group, then that compound is given a one different name, and that is a lipoproteins. That is a lipoproteins. So one thing you need to understand over here is that proteolipids and lipoproteins both are compound lipids, but in proteolipids it is just a simple combination of proteins and lipids, right? But in case of lipoprotein, this lipid is acting, lipid has a major role, and that major role is prosthetic group, as a prosthetic group to particular protein. So there is a subtle difference between lipoproteins and proteolipids that you need to understand. And yes, proteolipids are also known as aminolipids. Okay, so let's consider the third group, that is derived lipid. Now what is the derived lipid? As its name suggests, they are derivatives of something, right? They are derivatives of something. So what is this something? This something is this simple lipid and compound lipid. So derived lipids are the derivatives of simple lipids and compound lipids So derived lipids are derivatives of something, and that something is simple lipids and compound lipids. But can we call all the derivatives of simple lipids and compound lipid as a derived lipid? No. It comes with the condition that those derivatives must possess a characteristics of the lipids. Okay. For example, let's say when you hydrolyze this compound lipid, let's say this phospholipid is hydrolyzed, you get a phosphate. So shall we call this phosphate as a derived lipid? No, we cannot call it as a derived lipid. Why? Because phosphate has no characteristic of a lipid. Now what are the characteristics of the lipid? That characteristics you can find in the Bloor's definition, okay, that we had discussed in the previous video. The first characteristic is about its solubility. That is, they are soluble in non-polar solvent and not soluble in water. That means polar solvent, right? The second is biological utility. They must be utilized by the biological system. And third is they must be an esters of fatty acid with alcohol. They have some relationship with the alcohol by the ester linkage. Okay, fatty acid and alcohols by the ester linkage. So these three characteristics defines the lipid. But in a very short time, we are going to break up this third rule, right? So let's see the examples of these derived lipids. So suppose this, take up an example of triacylglycerol, and you do the hydrolysis, and so the first fatty acid is removed. So what will happen? You will have a diacylglycerol. So your diacylglycerol, this is an example of derived lipid. Okay, don't classify diacylglycerol as a simple lipid by just looking at the structure and say that it's a combination of alcohol and fatty acid. No, in biological system, this diacylglycerol is derived from the hydrolysis of one fatty acid. If you hydrolyze two fatty acid, then you can get a monoacylglycerol. Again, this is a derived lipid. Okay, if you remove all three fatty acid, then you are left with the glycerol, and glycerol is fulfilling this solubility criteria, this biological utility criteria, but it is not fulfilling this third criteria, and still we keep the glycerol as a derived lipid. So remember, the Bloor's definition is very loose one. So here this is the exception where the third criteria of the Bloor is not fulfilled, and still you classify something as a lipid. Okay, and that is a derived lipid. So now again this cholesterol, when this cholesterol is separated from its respective fatty acid, this cholesterol can also be considered as a derived lipid. Again, this sphingol can also be considered as a derived lipid. So see, derived lipid, this particular group, let me highlight it. This derived lipid group is very tricky one. Sometimes this condition is not fulfilled, still we consider that group under the classification of lipids. Okay, classification of lipids. And what are the miscellaneous? So miscellaneous lipids are the lipids which cannot be kept under simple lipid, compound lipid or derived lipid, and for human biochemistry only two compounds are important which should be kept under a miscellaneous, and that two compounds are two vitamins, vitamin E and vitamin K. In non-human biochemistry, certain like shark or mammalian liver, there is one compound that is known as squalene. This compound, it is a hydrocarbon, and which can be kept under a miscellaneous lipid. So many compounds are there under miscellaneous lipid, but when we are studying about human biochemistry, only vitamin E and vitamin K are the important ones which should be kept under the miscellaneous lipid. So this was all about the classification of lipid, and in future videos I am going to discuss about all these compounds, the simple lipids, all these various compound lipids, all these various derived lipid and these miscellaneous lipids in full detail. So stay tuned.